Well, hello, and hello, whoa. Little sound check here, microphone checker. Are we live and direct? Sorry if the audio isn't as good as normal. I'm in the middle of a move, and can you believe it, America? My recording conditions are suboptimal. I'm entitled to the finest of situations, all right? Always within my control. And when they're not in my control, you know what? I might just have to go out and smash the windows of a local business and steal the first things that I get my grubby hands on. Isn't that how it works? That's what I'm learning. I'm about to go peacefully protest my way to some new items. I'm just kidding, of course. I would never burgle my fellow man. That's not my steez. Skylar, you think I would burgle? No. I am the one that gets burgled. Weird flex. Anyway, we're back with the retrofit thing here. It's hilarious that I actually thought I could do this in one episode. I can't, and I might even be able to pull it off in two. But by Jove, we're going to try, aren't we? Yes, sir. And this is the tale of two buildings, top and bottom, and I don't know anything about either of them, other than that they are Jim's coin-op machines, or were, in Beatrice, Nebraska. Amazing, isn't it? How they can be so related, yet so different. It's like me and one of my sisters. You know the one. You know. Oh, no way. That Jerry Curl ad. That is incredible. I love that. Effie's Beauty Shop. This here's in Washington, or was. I don't know if you just joining us, or maybe you didn't see the first one. I guess I could just assume that you haven't, but this is just us looking at a bunch of pictures I've culled. What it is it's just buildings from the past that I believe, in some way, have been repurposed, and they don't match what they currently are being used as. This is just my opinion. I'm just recklessly speculating. And then there's also a bunch of really corny advertisements and things and roadside attractions mixed in, because I'm just trying to put things in context of why people in the past, in the very recent past, our past, or why they overlooked a lot of this, the stuff that seems so obvious now, like repurposing of bricks and buildings that have no business being this fancy on the top. And it's a culmination of years of looking at things differently and starting to recognize signs and similarities and things that may be covered up, and it just hints at something else. And this is Wahoo, Nebraska. I believe that Super Mario Brothers named this town. That's a terrible joke. River City Coins. This is in Jefferson Street in Burlington, Iowa. And, okay, that's why that was on there. Decatur, Illinois. Man, look at that thing. That is such a cool look. And I don't know, these small towns on the main streets usually tend to preserve these, but oftentimes in larger cities, they don't. This is the coal block, allegedly built in 1891 in San Diego, California. They've just painted right over this little tech on top here with no regard for human life. This is the old McKinley store, as you can see in the fine print there, in McKinleyville, California. At a funky little old building here. And this here's in Colorado, Salida, I guess it would be Colorado. Built in 1886, it tells us. Just look at it. I just refuse to believe that this is just how we ornament everything everywhere in the world, just likes this little shape, Gotta be more going on, but you already know that. This here's in Trinidad, Colorado. Another old world, man. What is it? It's funny, got a funky little brick top here. It's kind of funny. Just let you know what's going on there. The whole thing called like that. This is in Pauls Valley, Oklahoma. Look at that. That right there. That is amazing. I love that stuff. I love it, I say. And that door definitely looks like it's been added on somewhat clumsily. And this here bank on Kansas and Maine in Smith Center in Kansas. Wow. Just a funky stuff going on here. Kind of looks like it's not doing so well there, is it? By my guesstimation, is another weird lopsided library in Anaconda, Montana. It's got to be one of the strangest named cities in America, just because, it just conjures up images of, obviously large snakes that are not indigenous to Montana, I'm pretty sure. Jim's Barber Shop, Pleasant Hill, Missouri. I like this little front that they've kind of put on here to make it seem like, just, old Jim's house. That's a fun little gimmick. This is a Zion Hotel Dome, which apparently was moved to the roadside. It's on the top of a building in Zion, Illinois. And apparently they saved this, and then they raised the hotel, like the RAZED kind of raise. Meaning they just tore it down or burned it down. And I often assume that when I see many of these, and sometimes things like this inside of cathedrals and things, that's my theory, that they have been taken off the top at some point and just repurposed, because sometimes there's just no reason for them to even exist outside of, which I'm glad at least this one we know the story of. And it actually that's the first time I've actually read that actually is a thing. It's always something I suspected. This this is the first one that has actually admitted that I know of. So pretty cool, dude. Pretty cool. Baker Hotel here by the tracks in Baker, Montana. And I wonder how many of these are still hanging on. Obviously these pictures are old. You can tell by the sort of vintage tint to it. And I believe this leg of this has got, this is in Gulpwater, Wyoming, amazing name of a town. And I think this one's got a lot more silly things in it that aren't necessarily refigured or retrofitted. It's just kind of schlocky old signs and stuff from the more colorful past, more innocent time, when things are a little bit more, innocent and stuff like that. Anyway, where were we? Motel Hotel, Roosevelt Hotel, in Ogden, Utah. And this here is the Smith Hotel out in Glendale, Utah. I'm not sure why I put that one on there. That one doesn't really seem mathematically like it matches. This is in Fort Worth, this Masonic temple. And yeah, at least they're calling it a temple, which is what it actually looks exactly like. Look at the size of these things. I love that. Such a telltale sign, really, these sconces. This is in Oklahoma City, called Herb Furniture. Yeah, I don't know what to think of that one. Definitely looks more modern. But the way it's broken off here, I wonder if this is, I guess this is part of maybe an old building that they added onto and just kept the front facade. I wonder if this is like made to look like a ruin, but it's not really. Hard to say, America. Hard to say. Old Herb probably ain't with us no more. This is a museum gas station on Route 20 in McNair, Texas, and I've got an idea. Yeah, never mind. I had a bad joke about that one. I'm gonna skip that. Wow, I do not understand. This is amazing. This is amazing. I guess you're just taking advantage of the space hype with this. What does roofing have anything to do with this shuttle statue? Anyway, I guess maybe Florida. It's in Mims, Florida, so maybe it's near where they launched stuff. We have pride. What a funny sign. I think there's a lot of those in this. This is Smith Center in Kansas, another state bank. As it looks exactly like I would expect a state bank to look. See, this is on Locust Street in Oakland, Oregon. This was a library at one point, but no more. This beautiful candlestick building here is a First National Bank in Klamath Falls, Oregon. And yeah, wouldn't be surprised if this one was an old Masonic temple either, but no. Wow, that sign. In Oregon, actually, you just arrow anyway, arrow any direction, and you'll get there, you'll find it, you'll know what I'm talking about, you know what I mean. Don't play down with me. Ye Old Barbershop in Bloomfield, Iowa. And this is a pretty cool building here, I don't know, it's got to do anything with the old world other than it's just part of the old, roadside stuff. This is in Buffet Flat Antiques in Bend, Oregon. Very cool place, Bend. And this is a drive-through cinema in Florida. And actually, there's a bunch of these on here. Not for any reason other than I just felt a strange nostalgia for them. And I just threw them in because, this is kind of a trip down memory lane and kind of a case study in what I think people have done with these buildings over time. Like, this is in Jacksonville, and I doubt this was built to be a cosmetic studio. It just looks like something else, you know what I'm saying? This is in Virginia, and this is in Portland, Oregon. This Time Realty. Something about these storefronts just make me feel like this tile is covering up old stuff, Maybe it has to do with the foundation. I don't know. Smalley's Jewelry Store in Ogden, Utah. And that might be one of the better clocks that I've seen in a roadside. Charlie Price. I thought this had Pride. Charlie Price, but it's funny, he's a realtor, but then is this also for sale? He's selling? I don't know. That's a very, very odd ad. I mean, I guess it's in Brownfield, Texas, so maybe it makes sense. Maybe it do. This here is Shirley's Beauty Salon. Got a kind of a funky outline, like maybe you're hiding something, eh? And I'm not, by no means am I accusing actual people of knowing what's going on and intentionally doing this stuff. This is just, these people just are renting buildings or even purchasing buildings. They're not really diving into the history. I don't think that all these people are in on some grand conspiracy. I'm just looking at the things that seem obvious to us now and how they hid in the past. That old barbershop pole, that's a good one. That's a classic one, with the two different directions on there. Hey, imitating that, and I don't even think the people know why, but that's pretty dope. I like it. Aphrodite Hair Salon, good job. And I'll never understand signs like that. I really will not. Look, I'm not saying that I can do a whole lot better if I was going to do some lettering, but I'm saying that I would find someone that could do it. I'm just saying, I don't, maybe it's just me, but it is you are trying to drive business to your store, right? I mean, I just don't understand this. What is the allure there? It's one thing if you're just selling a lemonade stand, you're 5 years old, but expect to be a grown person starting a business? I don't know. I just see that way too many times, and I just don't know why. I'm not trying to be a jerk, but come on, we can do better. I mean, if you're putting money into it, you're taking a risk opening a business. Well, why wouldn't you? I don't know. You gotta have somebody in your family or somebody that can do a better job. Anyway, sorry if I clowned on your favorite beauty shop and you thought the letters were cool and I just tore your heart out. But just one simple man's opinion. I'm not sure why you would paint this blue. I really am not sure what this is all about, but this is an incredible, cool building. So many of these, and it's always a shame that they never seem to be maintained very well. It almost seems like it's by design. This is in Fairbury, Nebraska. Very interesting entrance there. And this is an Exxon company, J Exxon company, in Lincoln, Nebraska. Nebraska just full of this type of stuff. This here is in Rockaway, New York. This is actually a subway station. And back here, I think we saw that one already. The Omega Center in York, Nebraska. I didn't realize so I started doing this stuff. I didn't realize how many city names are repeated in various states. It's amazing. This is on Water Street, the Ralph building. I don't know what that means, but look at the top of that thing. That is immaculate. Great job, man. Very, very cool. Way to preserve that. Ice cream Guitters. Like Gawy Guido? A terrible joke. What? Blueberry muffin $1. What a great ad. I just love that. It says beer. All is beer. Then you can also get a blueberry muffin. Like sold. I mean, for $1? I saw these little burritos inside a freezer at one of the grocery stores around here. They're 69 cents. And literally, I'm not in the market for frozen burritos, but I bought them because I've never seen anything be 69 cents anymore. I was just like, what? I feel like I found treasure. This is Goldfield, Iowa. DJ's Lounge. I feel like we saw DJ's Lounge before, didn't we? I don't know if it's the same one or not. I don't know. I have to go back and look. This used to be a bank. Obviously, you can tell right here. Well, maybe not so obvious. It's a bit blurry. But now they sell dollies. And this is in Minden, Nebraska. And, I got a little basement stuff going on there. And, kind of some sloppy paintwork here, huh? Bank. Well, I doubt it's a bank anymore. This is amazing. I don't know what the original roof of this place is. I imagine it was just flat, and they somehow put this cladding on, or they turned it into a shoe. On vacation. That's funny. What a funny building. This is the kind of stuff you just simply do not see anymore. People doing that kind of stuff. Yeah, Bobby shampoo here. A classic style, bro. And this is a railroad station. Well, it was. Now it is an information center in Gettysburg. They kept that old world charm there, huh? Who knows what that little thing used to house. And there you go. The Mother Goose Market in Hazard, Kentucky. That goose looks not impressed. I'm kind of impressed with the effort that it, and also the fact that you made this very difficult for any other business to rent out after you were done. Like, yeah, well, if I don't make it here, no one will. They want to tear down the big goose head and make all the kids in town pissed. Union Pacific Railroad Station, which is now a museum in Nampa, Idaho. Look at that beauty. My land, it's a lovely, lovely building. And this is a hotel. Looks like it used to be a theater. Hotel Collins Park in Miami Beach, or on Miami Beach. Oh no, it looks like there's a wrecking ball behind it. Look, yeah, railroad station. Okay, so my notes here say that this is to be moved because of the highway construction. Well, clearly, it needs to have something happen to it. It's a weird logo thing there. Yin and yang on that. It's a lot. This is in Lamar's. Oh, I saw that. That's the Man Trap Salon. I already made jokes about that. This is a Medico-Dental Center. That's what the M&D stand for there. In Sutter Street in Stockton. And look at that beauty. Yeah, just hanging on there. Connie's Hair Salon. The Vanity Box. And this is another one that did that kind of thing where you kind of add like a fake house on there. This is very cool. I just don't understand though. I don't understand. I know this is supposed to be like a me critiquing stuff, but I never understand when everyone sprays everything one color. Like, not even the trim? I don't know. Maybe. I'm just tripping. This is in Salinas, California. Another beautiful commercial building here. And another old world banger. Banger tees or bangerts? I don't know. But I am impressed, Burlington, Iowa, that these upper levels look so immaculate. I'm not sure what that originally was. Probably just a residence in the old world. Laredo, Texas has got this taxi. A1 taxi? Wow. I don't think I'd be going in there. That just looks sketchy as hell. Especially if you can clearly see like what kind of building you're actually entering. It's like, come in through the front door. Don't pay attention to the alley. That's funny. That's in Laredo, Texas, if I didn't mention that. The Irish Dance Center here on Spokane, Washington. And this is a replica statue at the YMCA in Niles, Illinois. The Leaning Tower of Pisa replica, which I'm not really sure what is the point of making something like that, but looks pretty big too. I mean, if these flags are life size, if that door's, there's a person right there, so yeah, it's pretty big. I wonder what's going on there. It was always like this, or was this something else that was was sagging. They just turned it into it. I don't know. Seems bizarre to me. And this is in Flint, Michigan, the infamous old Ben's Barbershop. And that's a cool barbershop sign in Waupaca, Wisconsin. I'm probably butchering the name of that, but I got a few barbershop poles in here left over from when I was researching barbershop poles. Soda, and this is just another barbershop here. A little variation on the old gal in Mountain Grove, Missouri. If it ain't fresh, it ain't me. Fresh barber. I like that. These little beauty shops. So many little mom and pop places. Look at this here. This is the Broadway in Owatonna, Minnesota. The detail on this bank, and we're told Louis Sullivan designed this, but I have my doubts. It's kind of one of those names that they just sort of attach to anything fancy. But that is very cool. Amazing that they even left that on there. This is in Prospect, Milwaukee. Oh, I'm sorry. Prospect is, I believe, the street name. Yeah, this is Milwaukee, Wisconsin, though. This is just an office building. I mean, these engravings and stuff and these massive... I mean, what office building invests like that? Not a single one. Old Goodman's department store in Pagosa Springs, Colorado. And this is in Madison, Wisconsin. Co-op place. And this is a little downtown in Raton, New Mexico. It's pretty cool here, man. This old stuff. It's just spray paint stuff and things. I don't want to leave the things out, These are 3 commercial buildings in Cheyenne, Wyoming. Just so cool, man. That style it just never gets old. Every downtown, I don't give a damn where you are. Every downtown looks like this. Every downtown Main Street. It's incredible. Of course, they've all burnt out at some point, but that's for another story. This is the famous Muffler Man. Although Texas has a Muffler Man, but it's not it's not this one. But that's funny that this is a different Muffler Man. This one's in West Columbia, South Carolina. That kind of stuff is so fun. And Metropolis, Illinois has this Superman statue at the courthouse. I don't know if they still do, but they did. This is Springfield, Illinois. Just a beautiful downtown. Just imagine the snow, dude. You're out there like Christmas shopping, dude. Like, oh, it's so perfect, dude. This is up here in First National Bank, and we're back here at this is that bank we were at. Just a little closer look at the strange engravings there. This is in Michigan, Benton Harbor. The state bank there. Banks always got to look like temples, you got to pray to that money. And Alliance, Nebraska, the Carnegie Library. And this is back in Oregon there, the Klamath Falls, the old library. Now it's the City Hall, apparently. There's another Carnegie Library. This is in Iron Mountain, Michigan. And now it's a historical museum, which is why they've got that cannon there. And this is in Kingman, Kansas. Carnegie Library there. Lots of these everywhere. I can't remember how many they said they gave out, but this is a library in St. Joseph, Missouri. And this is just an amazingly cool building. You don't see too many rounded ones like this in the corner like that with the little basement windows, though. You know what's going on here. A barbershop here in Sandy, Utah. Look at that. They got 3 different types of barbershop poles. Like they collected them. Maybe they're putting people out of business and taking their poles when they leave. That'd be funny. Tick's Barbershop. Is now in this Yankton, South Dakota. Interesting here, this entrance, but this telephone building up here, it's just, I guess it used to be that. And a giant Coke bottle in Los Angeles, California on Central Avenue and 14th. And I'm going to say that there's no chance in hell this is still here. If it is, it's probably been completely defaced. But this was outside of the bottling company that used to be there, or is still there, I'm not sure. This is the Hogan in San Jacinto, California, or it was the Hogan. I believe now it's, clearly a chiropractor. Very funny building for that. Oh, that's right. This is the back of that bottling shop in LA. This is the door. I mean, that's an amazing door. I wish every door in my house looked like that. Or at least the front door with a huge fisheye lens in the front like that. Like your name is like Count Olaf. There's a National Bank in Winona, Minnesota. That is just gorgeous stuff going on there. My land. Eagle Light there. Yes, to be expected. To be expected. Rather beautiful. And this is a Empire Lodge. Obviously, it says here number 269, and you recognize what's going on here. This is in Ottumwa, Iowa. We got here a Southampton abandoned commercial building, sadly. I mean, I don't know what it was originally, but it'd be weird for it just to be a commercial building, I tell you that. This is in Las Vegas, New Mexico, which I didn't even know they had a Las Vegas there, but yeah, they do. And I don't think there's much going on here, but there once was. And whatever center block is, that's what it once was. You might can help me out with that. This is a McDougall building in Salinas, California. It's pretty amazing. Almost every time, every video I feel like I put out, there's always people that comment. They're like, oh, I know that building. I remember that place. And it's just so cool what a small world it is sometimes, There's even been instances where people have been like, hey, you were like literally doing satellite imagery like right above my house. It's just pretty cool. I love to hear it. And especially with such a small, little pocket of people. I'm always startled by the amount of interact of crossover there really is. I love hearing stuff like that. Anyway, this bank is very interesting with this like Mayan face up here. And it does make you wonder, what is the source of all these things? Why all this pagan stuff here? In California, I would assume it's probably because those are the people that actually built it. They're closer to like that sort of, and that extends all the way down into Mexico and South America. I feel like that's it's more likely than just white people came here and just bashed on all the natives and thought they were primal and, all these idiots are naked and eat acorns and all the horrible stuff they used to write about, which I don't believe are true. And then moved into these buildings and then put up the same sort of like images. I just find that to be very unlikely. And this, little swastika pattern that you see everywhere. And it's very, very, very prominent in California. I mean, almost every government building or any building that has anything like this that's left. I can't imagine how many of them were torn out. Probably unfathomable amounts, but it's still there. Ringing in the new year. This is a dairy milk bottle made out of cinder blocks in Spokane, Washington. What a funny building, man. I love that stuff. It's so corny, but still. And actually, this is the over the years, this is what it has become. And you notice the time lapse here. So this is in Spokane, Washington. This is when it was the milk bottle. And then you have this next door. Okay, well now it's digital TV incorporated, but it's actually for rent. So whatever was there is probably not there anymore. And you can tell the neighbors kind of like modernized theirs a little bit, put a different facade on it, took off this old world sort of stuff, retiled it, made it look much more digital. Okay, it's different. And then you got this one here, which I think this is probably going back in time even more. I don't know. I can't tell which one is. But now they just call it the milk bottle. I think this is the more modern version of it, and they put a layer of stucco over the top. And I love stuff like that. This is Grisham's milk bottle, and now obviously it's a entrance to a trailer park, and this is in Corpus Christi, Texas. But that was pretty funny. They just kept that. Was a railroad. We saw this one already. This is another shot of that amazing Museum X railroad station, and this is that Coca-Cola bottling company. I don't know why these are a little bit out of order, but this is one that was in LA, 14th and Central Avenue. And that little retro look with the old, like those port windows. I don't know if this was like made out of a ship or something, but it definitely looks like it. That's a very cool look. LA used to have a lot of that stuff, and I think that they have been systematically removing it. It's not quite as old as the old world type stuff, but it was definitely an era, like a very like modern, almost space-like era, very futuristic retro look that I wish that they would have kept more of that, but I'd be willing to bet my balls that building's gone. Marfa, Texas here. And this is the Paisano Hotel now. Love that entrance. That's so dope. You gotta just love what's still hanging on, don't you? This is a national hotel in Miami Beach, Florida with this still attached. I don't know. Doesn't look like it's very long for this world. You know what I'm saying? This is a building in Lincoln, Nebraska. This is back in Wahoo. I think we saw that already. Ignore that one. This is a barbershop in Galesburg, Illinois. This is like, what do they call it? Deep cuts. This is deep cuts. Finding these small towns there. Some of these towns I didn't even know existed, like Pleasant Hill, Missouri. This is Powder Box hails from. Such a funny look. Hey, we got, we're still going to do the Eagle thing, huh? Even though it's definitely modernized. Okay, this is the bus depot in Great Falls, Montana. Love that look of that. Love that. Sailor Bill's Tattooing. This is in Columbus, Georgia. My, oh my. This is in New York City. Couldn't tell. There's a kind of a distinct sort of a grime to it. This is a department store in Lansing, Michigan. That got that retro look. It's still holding on there. An Airway Drive-In Theater sign, complete with dancing woman clock. And one day I just see a world where we don't have any signs like this anymore. They'll just be digital display after digital display. Like that scene in Roger Rabbit where he's like, billboards as far as the eye can see. My God, it'll be glorious. Personally, I'd rather have Toontown. Now, I wonder about this. I wonder if this was something else. This looks like the top of those stupas you see in like Thailand. They just incorporated into a bowling alley. And I just say it because the top coil, I don't know. It just looks, it could be that they just literally came up with this on their own, but I don't know. This looks too much like some of the stuff we see in some of those really old buildings. We can't explain, like that right there. Like just like that sort of stuff right there. That we just don't really know what the bleep's going on. These are all drive-in theater signs, which makes me sad that they're pretty much gone. There might be one left around here, but it's the kind of stuff you see on Route 66. This is in Tulsa, Oklahoma, and these old little cabins here. This is in Michigan. And a lot of this stuff popped up, these old mom and pop places, like the motels and stuff were basically invented. They came along with the vehicle. When everyone started having a vehicle, they didn't have gas stations or convenience stores and things like that. Obviously, what would be the point of it? So these were popping up all over the place to convince people to stop. And usually, like the wife of the owner would actually make the meals almost like B&B-ish, at least the way it like used to be for a long time. That's where that whole industry started. And then, you know, when the major hotels and the huge highways came out, and they interstate highways, and they bypassed a lot of the stuff like the smaller routes that were more curved and more scenic and sometimes more dangerous, then those major highways, they bypassed a lot of that stuff and put a lot of those things out of business, which is sad. And there are certain drives that, you know, you can take this way and see a lot of old stuff. It'll take you an hour longer, an hour or two longer, but you'll get exposed to a lot of that stuff and bring traffic into these small towns. Or you can stay on this one, this major interstate, and it'll be the most boring drive of your life, but you'll be there 2 hours sooner. And it's sad the way we always take the 2 hours sooner. You know, well, almost always. Well, and I've made a vow to myself that when I travel from now on, whenever I can, I'm going to do it the slow way. And I'm a lot more curious about the world, I think, than I used to be. And I want to take the trains instead of the planes, and I want to go through these small towns, just experience it myself. Not that I haven't done that, but it's just, there's too many times also I've taken the boring drive just to get to the destination quicker. And I think those days are done. That's my point here. And this is also on Route 66. This is in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Very cool way to do that. I love that, having the hanging paintings on the outside and stuff. We don't care. Weather be damned. And this is in Salt Lake City, the Tower Motel. I'm guessing that this was here first. Not as a motel though, you know, that'd be my guess there. And this is in San Bernardino, California. This little Mission Motel, exactly like what I was just speaking on, stuff like that. This little Del Camino Motel. This one's on El Paso, Texas, on Route 80. And this is Louisiana. These little comfy little motels. And this is the Loyola Theater, which has been defaced, we are told. Oh, I don't really see the defacing. At least not this part. But this is Westchester, California. Oh, man. California, yeah, it's been defaced. Everything I feel like in California is defaced. Carnegie Library in Anderson, South Carolina. Amazing stuff here. This is the Bradford Beach Bathhouse in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. And I don't believe that there's any bathhouses are in existence anymore, but this is pretty incredible that this is still around, at least even in this late of a day, as this picture was taken with probably the 80s. Real estate building on Dyke Street, Detroit. I wonder if it's still the name of that street. I don't know. Drive-in cinema. This is now a church, actually, somehow. This is in Pinellas Park, Florida. Very odd. Holding on to that southern flag, that old world flag, ain't you? And this is in Jacksonville Beach, Florida. Another drive-in theater there. And a Viking drive-in theater sign. Well, at least it used to be. I guess it's probably not anymore. This is in Anderson, South Carolina as well. How about that? Soft water wash. I don't know what the hell that means. But this is in Ocean... I guess a car wash, I guess? This is in Ocean Park, California. I can't imagine that that's there anymore. Not at all. Air conditioned. Wow. That's a funny way to advertise that. I wasn't going to go in there, but I decided to once I saw that sign. And this is Culver City, California. This is another one of those odd little signs that in no way had anything to do with this laundry place. I mean, I'm sure this was here and they just added onto it. Like Beacon Laundry. Probably the Beacon was probably already there. This is the Strand Theater entrance there in Wildwood. What the hell are you going on about, bro? Another surf theater kiosk here in Ocean City, New Jersey. It's like it's on the edge of a pier or something. That is actually on the boardwalk. See if I can read that sign. Rated G. Under $12.85. What? Adults $3? Amazing. No bare feet. It's funny you have to say that. And this theater is not air conditioned. So there. And I have to wear shoes? This is an outrage. Great Falls, Montana. Got this here Liberty Theater. A lovely place. Office supply downstairs. Okay, so it's not a theater anymore, huh? Not just a boring place to buy pencils? Fuck out of here, dude. And this is This is on Route 66 in Grants, New Mexico. This here, one showing at 9 o'clock. Okay, that's too bad. I mean, it's a tough thing to do, I guess, to be there at 9 o'clock on Trout Haven. Over 500,000 caught. This here is a billboard along South Dakota Black Hills. That's amazing that that's a clock. How clever. This is in San Diego, or was in San Diego. And this is a place called Thunder Beast Park. I told you this one's gonna have a little silly. In Oregon, on Route 97. I don't know what that's supposed to be. I guess it's a Thunder Beast. You know, every time, I've said it before, you see a wagon wheel, no matter what, it is and this one's obvious, of course, but just, it's always staged. Like, it's always just for decor. You see it in like old forts, you see it in old places that are alleged to be forts, you see a wagon wheel. Just know, it's always a prop. Always. There's no one just leaves wagon wheels around. And of course that seems obvious here, but sometimes you'll see them in places like old world photos. And it's like, yeah, see, there's wagon wheels lying here. Like, the hell out of here. Detroit Lakes, Minnesota. That's some funny little... What? Why is it one of the dwarfs there? Kind of weird. It'll do. Motel. Maybe one of those amazing named hotels of all time. It'll do. Got beer, got food. All right, perfect. That's in Jonesboro, Tennessee. And just look at this one. This is Fong's Tea Garden, and there's no freaking way that this was designed to be tea garden. But I love the way they have this little flare rooftop to make it fit thematically. So it's just hilarious. And we got this bad boy, the Shanty Club. I like this. It says stop up there, and then they changed their mind, like stop. Wait, no, that sounds stupid. Just ignore that. Shanty Club, pools and play with Claudette. Shanty Club. The lights and the amalgamation of bizarre bricks and the recessed doorway. What a strange place. This is in Louisiana. And I think I have an idea of how kind of shanty, like place it's talking about with Claudette. You know what I'm saying? That just doesn't sound like a real name. You know what I mean? I think I know what's going on there. High heels on the bar, if you know what I'm saying. And this is Elwood Bar, looking like a bizarre robot or giant soda can with eyeballs. This is in Detroit, or was in Detroit. Isn't it funny? These are just the funniest buildings, man. Warsaw Ballroom, this was in Miami Beach. Just, I don't know, maybe this is just unimpressive or uninteresting to most people. This is the old Crystal Pier. I think this is still there, actually. And actually, I remember it looking like this, very much like this. So I don't know if they remodeled it at all, but I wouldn't be surprised. But it looked like that at least in the 90s. This is in Albuquerque, New Mexico. I just feel like I get a strange bit of nostalgia looking at this stuff. There's nothing really, eye-opening or mind-blowing here. It's just a sort of a stroll through the way that America was and the way people drummed up business and people just made it work. Got this building with a tower on it. All right. I love the pride they took. Make this look like, take this boring building. We're going to paint our little section of it. These lines out here and make it look like you're going to a Chinese house. I love it. It's corny. Yeah, sure. Little Haven Bar here in Glendive, Montana. A strange little double-headed thing there. You don't normally see that. I wonder if originally the building had something like this with the two eagles and they just picked it down until, I don't know, man. Interesting. But it looks like it has a basement thing going on too, perhaps. Al's Oasis Buffalo Burger. That is pretty amazing out there in South Dakota. And this is a rock shop, obviously, as you can see. This is in Orderville, Utah, or was. I don't know. It's a dinosaur skeleton and then what is this supposed to be though? I don't understand. It's supposed to be like a volcano or something? I missed the mark on that one a little bit. This horrifying monster is from Elk City, Oklahoma. Indian Trading Post, but that looks like a killer clown to me, like an 8-bit killer clown from an early video game. This is part of that Coral Castle in Homestead, Florida. North Dakota, Rawhide City billboard, or was. I love it, the King Kong's still there. It actually looks three-dimensional, but I don't think it is. I think it's just a single open. Here it is. Crazy Ann's Fireworks. Yeah, that makes me, I don't know if that makes me want to go there at all. The only reason I would like this if the person that's attending it looks exactly like this, then that would be dressed and everything. That would be too good. But if it's just some other dude or random people, I wouldn't understand. Nightcap Hotel. Wow. Who the heck wears a nightcap anymore? That's something that's gone out of fashion. This is in Hayward, California, the City Hall. The Alameda Hayward City Hall, I guess. What a beauty. But I mean, this used to be a hospital or something. You got the weird serpents around the... And then this one almost has like the Baphomet. Dude, this is strange. Look how pagan this looks. With these weird Baphomet or like goat things, and oh man, that is kind of terrifying. And really, there's no reason for this. There's no justification for this if California were to just build this. This had to just have already been there. Because why? How could you explain that? It's very weird that they kept that, I think. To O'Brien. This is in Laramie, Wyoming. The old Albany County Courthouse, looking like a monstrosity, of course, just like everywhere. And this is a close-up of some of that fancy stuff on the top of the Union, South Carolina. This is Lewis County Courthouse in Weston, West Virginia. Just, unnecessary stuff going on here. You know that these weren't built for this. People just moved in. This is in St. Clairsville, Ohio. And I mean, I just cannot imagine that this stuff was built for this. Like, what? This is so not American style. Just for that era. This is House of Luck Wigs, a wig store, Portland, Oregon. Man, that is too funny. I wonder if this is just clad in wood and what's actually made out of. Probably brick, something. See if we can tell. It looks like brick or block. I don't know. Wig stores. Well, they better have, before we go there, let me give a call. Make sure that their clown wigs are made from yak hair. Because everyone, I know I'm telling you, you already know, that the finest clown wigs are made of yak hair. I know everyone knows that. Actually, probably not very many people. But it is true. I'm not kidding. And I don't know why I know that. But I do. So you're going to get a clown wig, you better get a yak hair one if you want the real deal. If you want what Bozo wore or whatever. Or that jerk Ronald McDonald. This is in Independence, Iowa. The Buchanan County Courthouse. Yeah, Ronald McDonald's a real jerk. Bloomfield, Iowa. Chiming in with this old world monster. Jiminy, look at that thing. God. Lady Justice on the top there. Yeah, sure. Golly. That looks like straight out of Disneyland. So cool. And you know that a lot of them look like that are now just stripped down, if not all of them. You know that. Just wild, dude. Wild with the out. And here you go, is another old tower. There's a Holiday Motel in Hagerstown, Maryland, and you just know that this thing was here first, and it's always just stripped down completely. It's crazy, dude. It's just everywhere you freaking go. This is in Bar, Vermont, LeMay's Hotel, looking like, something happened here. I don't think that's normal. And the old Aztec Hotel in Route 66, Albuquerque, New Mexico. Very, very interesting. Very interesting stuff here. Close up of the statuary. Some old, some new, methinks. That's cool. The tiny little, this is a motel. That one little, the garage. That's sweet. Although they've got a thing in front of us. You can't actually park there, but still. At one point, maybe you could have. The no-tell motel. You know what that means. What happens at the no-tell motel stays at the no-tell motel. It's kind of implied. Shangri-La Motel and Wyatt Earp Boulevard in Dodge City, Kansas. That is a strange entrance. Yes, sir. This is one example of a small little motel there and cabin in Yulee, Florida. And this is in Ouray, Colorado. This is a law office. It's called Anna's Castle. That's a cool town if you ever get a chance. Harris Linen and Lace Shop. All right. Yeah, we see that. Hollywood Dream Factory in Toledo, Ohio. What is that? Like, I wouldn't even know what that place sold. Lovely terracotta detail here on this. This is in DeKalb, Illinois. Wonder if it must be people living up top there. They got two different air conditioning models competing. Debbie's Pawn Shop in Weston, West Virginia. That's a funny way to do that. I wonder if it just looks so added on or contrived. But it probably looked like that, or the buildings around it did, and it's like an homage. Sometimes you get these historical buildings. I used to rent a house in a historical neighborhood and district, and there was some funny rules about the things that you could do to repair your roof breaks or certain things. How there's certain elements of the home that you had to keep intact for these historic districts. And I wonder if places like this sometimes where it's like, no, it has to be shaped like this. So even if this collapses or something, you have to keep the same sort of like facade. I don't know. I'm just guessing why some of these are left on in these shapes that are so obviously contrived. I don't know. Just reckless suspect. Hey, it's what we do here. You know what I'm saying? It's what we do. You can tell it's one of those signs that like waves, like blink, 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 blink. The old neons. Man, I used to love those old neon signs at night. Those towns, super cool. This is in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma, or at least it was. Kind of looking like beat down, really. I doubt the drive-in theater's still there. I mean, most of them are gone. Oh, dude, closed forever. That's sad. This is also a drive-in theater sign in Bay City, Michigan, and closed also. Wow, another one, North 53. This is a drive-in. This is in Rome, Georgia. Nobody goes to drive-ins anymore. I think that they kind of are like trying to bring them back, for at least on a limited basis every now and then, but that is a strange motel. This is actually made out of boxcars in Somerville, Texas. Ooh, we had to repurpose that. Sushi Train Motel. Sleep cool, yo. Fun for all. In South Dakota. I love repurposed stuff like that, dude. That is just right up my alley. Grand Island, Nebraska. Yes, sir. And this is such a cool doorway. I don't know what it was initially, but now it's the club. Ogden, Utah. And this is a 10-story ziggurat pyramidal state office building along the Sacramento River. This is across from downtown Sacramento. And I don't know if this is still there, but it is a very interesting building. I think it is still there, actually. I have to look into that. White Castle in Cincinnati, Ohio. I just don't know about that. I don't know if they're all, I don't know if this is just added on or if the first ones they moved into looked like, the first one they moved into looked like a little castle and they called it. And then they sort of kept it up and made them look sort of like fake. I guess theme parked them. That's an amazing this is how we need to do more. I wish more signs were like that. I need to see that again. Just that huge marquee. That's hilarious. The tiny building. This Minneapolis. How funny. Very interesting little throwback building there in Fort Wayne, Indiana. Powers Hamburgers. And here you got another passenger car remake in Wellsboro, Pennsylvania. Leave the car. If you're going to just leave these train cars here, bro, we're going to turn them into restaurants. Just telling you right now. Hall of Fame entrance. American Police in Northport, Florida. I wonder if that place is busy. Probably not these days, sadly. And the Everglades Safari. I hope the tour guide looks like that and just says nothing. This guy's looking back like, are we going to live through this? This is Dade County. Scotty's Cottages in All Sable, Michigan. Probably a different way to pronounce that. American Butchers, all their town names, New Meadows, Idaho, with this here little halfway in. And this is in Lake Charles, Louisiana. Sadly for sale. All of these for sale. These are all gone. And this is This is probably 40 years ago, 30 years ago when these were around. I just don't know, man. It's just a sad thing. Everyone just getting squeezed out. This is in Columbus, Georgia. Just getting the squeeze. Jenkins Quality Barbecue. Yes, sir. This here is and was in Jacksonville, Florida. A cool old building. It's too bad, you know? It is too bad. I know that the scamdemic took out a lot of local diners, at least in upstate New York. A lot of in small towns. People real bummed about that. You know, I hope there's a time when it's feasible to reopen those kind of places. It makes more sense. Now, this is amazing. This is a Ford dealership. This is what I'm talking about. This is like a quintessential. I don't understand why would Ford have the double-headed eagle, and why would they have these Egyptian, like this is just doesn't tie in at all to what they're doing. This is in Oregon. I can tell it was something else here first, but I mean, I just feel like this stuff was just here. This is part of something else entirely. I don't know what it was, what sort of culture or people like did that, but I just refused to buy that. It was just like, oh yeah, what, carving Egyptian by your doors, not normal? Like, no, blurry picture here. This is amazing in Tacoma, Washington, Bob's Java Jive. Now it's a cabaret. Oh my God. Bob, what happened? Colonial gas sign billboard in St. Mary's, Georgia. They probably not too popular, that term these days, you know. They probably changed that. Stan the Tire Man in Mount Vernon, Illinois. I don't know. That's not a man, so either these guys are way ahead of their time, or there's some joke there I don't understand. Big Fish Supper Club in Bena, Minnesota, I think. I mean, that's pretty clever the way it looks like it's eating the house, but man, it's so corny. We just ain't doing stuff like that anymore. Unless it's like a window you order from, that's kind of funny. Orange Julep in Plattsburgh, New York. And I don't know when era this was, but if a sandwich is $1.25, my lands. What a time to be alive. I'll take 7, please. Coney Island Dairyland. Looks like it was an old trailer or something, like an old Airstream. My God, this is just terrible. In Aspen Park, Colorado. What can you also, if this closes out of business, what can you obviously turn that into? Like nothing. I mean, major renovations. This is the Barrel in Devil's Lake, North Dakota. Man, this is an old diner in St. Paul here. This one's in Bellows Falls, Vermont. And the Donut Hole in La Puente, California. Man, car wash or something. What? This is just such a funny thing. You just tell that this is a different time. Whoa, Night Owl Cafe, or Hoot Owl Cafe, I'm sorry. It's in Long Beach, California. I think at one point this was shaped like an owl. Better than that. A better picture of it here somewhere. The Stinker Cut Rate Gas Station in Boise, Idaho. It's a very odd name for that. Mammy's Cupboard in Route 61, Natchez, Mississippi. And I would be literally shocked if that was still the case today. Wow. I'm not even, maybe the woman that opened it looked like that, but it's just something you just couldn't get away with today. People are too weird. This used to be called Sam's Roast Beef in Corona, California, but now it's the Mad Greek. And this here, Delta Queen Car Wash in Campbell, California, or what it used to be, but it's a funky little middle. These are some gas pumps that you might find on 8th and Market Streets in San Diego. In the Gas Lamp District, I believe. These are in Barstow, California. I love this old look. Why did we get away from all that stuff? Why did we get away from all that? It's such a cool look. Erie. It's a foreign car parts. You know, this is a sign. Obviously, at least it has to do with the business. Kind of a clever way to do this. This is in Whitesboro, New York. I've seen this elsewhere. I'm not sure if that's still around. More Skinny. Used car sign. Saving you money. They got this boy only got boxes on. They got him down to his jaws and his wooden shoes. That's in Pueblo, Colorado. Dependable used car sign in Grand Rapids, Michigan. Wow, man, they really put some effort in that one. That's pretty wild. This is in Tres Piedras, New Mexico. It's a little adobe diner. And here in Illinois, we have another little Chinese garden. In Virginia, you got the same little pattern. That's such a slice of time. And I know some of these are probably still holding on, but it is a real novelty anymore, which is too bad. Who the hell wants just boring, blocky buildings? Like, I want this world back. Well, hot dog stands looked like this, and they made no sense. Howard Johnson's in Vermont. I'm not sure if this looks to me like it was built to look like an old world thing. Lake Worth, Florida, got this here, Christine's Restaurant and Cocktails. Funky little tower building there. And I'm not sure. These windows are dope. This is a cafe in Norwood, California, or was. Another Royal Diner. This is north of Kingston in New York. This one's in Wilkinsburg, Pennsylvania. Another old gas station that turned into a Tower Light restaurant and tavern. But I'm guessing, this is in Evansville, Indiana, but I'm guessing that it was something else first. You know, I can't prove it, but I got me some suspicion. These are just old gas stations I thought were pretty cool. This is in San Antonio, the New Laredo Highway. This one is in White City, New Mexico. This is in Deposit, New York. Always with this same little kind of like shaped thing here, whatever this is. This is in South Pasadena, California. And this one is in Milwaukee. A go-to gas station. Probably was like a little Asian food place before that. Would be my guess. Salt Lake City, Utah, the old milk depot. Funny, there's a milk depot out here. But there was. Probably not there anymore. It's one of those places where you pull up. It's actually one of the only convenience stores I know. You pull up into the outside, like the carport. Somebody comes out, like you're not allowed to go in there. And some dude comes out, you tell them what you want, and they go back in and come out with the stuff. And maybe that's how all milk depots will operate. I don't know. But I used to go there just because I thought it was a novelty, even though it was way out of the way. It's a strange thing to still exist. And this was in Milwaukee, Oregon, the Bomber gas station. That is a lot of effort to put into that bad boy. Sinclair gas station in Spring Hill, Florida. This is the That might be the dumbest burp representation of a dinosaur. I think dinosaurs are fake anyway, so they might as well look like that. Yeah, we don't know. This used to be a gas station. This is in Tennessee, allegedly. There's all grass growing over. And this beautiful thing is a gas station now, but I don't know what it was, but just look at that. What? Can't tell me this was originally designed for that. That's ridiculous. Even this one. This is in Kingsland, Georgia. These buildings just, you can just tell that even though these have been clad in tile, you can tell that this was more like this back in the past. You can just tell. They got that look, you know what I'm saying? Back with the old, more teepee stuff. This is a teepee gas station in Lawrence, Kansas. Man, people love that teepee stuff, didn't they? This is a diner that actually has Korean food. How about that? Very odd. This one's in Columbus, Georgia, or was. In Compton, California. This bad boy. Seems unnecessary at the top, doesn't it? Delta Queen. So, yeah, okay. So I guess this is designed to look like a steamboat. Maybe it is a steamboat? Oh, makes more sense, though. Studebaker showroom here in New Jersey. Gotta love the old space theme and stuff here. This one's in Beverly Hills. What a fun little time to be alive when hat and boots gas station. This is in Seattle. There's no chance in hell this is still in Seattle. I would be literally shocked if this was still around. It's just hilarious. Disco Star Ride in Seaside Heights, New Jersey. Yeah, that looks so fun. Those colored bulbs and all that. That's such a dope look. Now that's one satisfied dad. Who says no? Cream Castle, Sikeston, Missouri. Old neons are long gone. By the wayside. A few towns holding on to them. World's largest buffaloes. 46 feet long, 26 feet high. This is Jamestown, North Dakota. It's pretty amazing, though. An old drive-in theater here in Kansas City. And a new Empire Hotel out there in White Lake, New York. Doesn't look like it's anything anymore. Man, it looks so cool. I wish someone would preserve this stuff. Hail. The Wonder Bread store. Wow. Rock Springs, Wyoming. That is absolutely ridiculous. It's actually like where you park dirigibles or something. I love this, man. There's no way this was designed to look like this, but they just kind of converted it into a native. It's amazing. People are creative, and I love it. I love to see it. It's too bad that we're losing this stuff. Pink Elephant Liquor Store statue. Okay. That is very unique. This is in McCordsville, Indiana. Gotta give him that. Uncle Sam hole here. There's a bunch of these in here too, these little mini golf ones. Whale Car Wash in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. And actually, you know what? I might have to cut this one short and do a part 3. Can't believe it. I think I do. And I know these are getting a little silly with this stuff, but I think this is a fun little slice of time that we should not forget existed, and we should stay in touch with this. It's just a much more simpler, innocent time, and it wasn't that long ago, and I think it sucks that we lose our innocence. This tyrant reptile king lived about 70 million years ago, was a meat eater. Well, I don't know how you prove any of that, but I like the fact that he's on the golf course. Ocean City, Maryland. This is such a classic theme. The talking food, like the California raisin, the Domino's Noid, probably my favorite. Yeah, that's right. Domino's used to have a mascot, the Noid. They need to bring the Noid back. Is that someone climbing the outside of that? What is that? It's like a statue or something? It's like a guy holding a torch. I don't know what that has to do thematically with anything. It's a gas station. It looks like a castle in Glen Elder, Kansas. Yeah. Wow. That's one way to repurpose that bad boy. Cucamonga, California. As this old. I feel like if I was leaving and going out of business with the gas, I'd take those gas tanks with me. Pumps, what else are you going to do with them? This is a gas station wreck in Tremont, Mississippi. Bob's Pig Shop, Pauls Valley, Oklahoma. Zillow, Washington. Look at this. This is amazing. Some of these are still here. Some of these teapots. I've seen them on the National Registry. World's largest redwood tree service station. That is a service station inside of a redwood tree, which is ridiculous. I hope it was dead when they found it. And they didn't just do that. But that was kind of the way they did stuff back then. They basically were cutting down. Imagine they were cutting down these trees and just making houses out of it. It's unbelievable. The audacity to feel like you should cut down some of these trees. And they did it to they deforested massive areas of it in California. It's very sad, actually. So they are really a relic of time long gone by, the redwoods. One of the most amazing things in the world. And this is in Ukiah, California. And this was 1936, I believe, was when this service station was founded, or at least it existed at some point in 1936. So maybe it's been there since that, or maybe that was opening day. I don't know. But at some point it was opened in 1936. And on that kind of sad note, wow, this is a restoration. It's like a woman screaming with her hands in the air, like, no! But actually, it's supposed to be a Shell. It's supposed to be a Shell gas station in North Carolina, but it looks like a screaming, weird, like fan, like an opera fangirl freaking out. That's a dope look. And I think I'm going to stop it there. Up for the third one. I wasn't planning on that, but I got still like 500 more to go in this slideshow. That's a good enough retro look. Oh, no way. On Bob's Big Boy. This one wasn't that long ago. I remember Bob's Big Boy as a kid. It worked. I mean, if you're trying to get kids' attention, so they're like, Mom, Dad, let's go to Bob's Big Boy. And that used to work. This one's in LA. I wonder if there's any of them still around anymore. Good old Bob. Well, I'm gonna leave it on that note. Bob's way better than Ronald McDonald, that jerk. And no, I'm not just saying that because he made me cry one time, but it's also just what I've heard from other people, okay? So on that note, I'm out. I'll see you soon.